I don't know about you guys, but I love RPGs with deep customization features and interesting combat. I also love RPGs with strong exploration that encourages you to do things in the overworld, and I love RPGs that have fun casts of characters. And I especially love RPGs where you can break the game in half by using those customization features and hyper buffing a singular character to destroy the game even on the highest difficulty. And I feel like Atelier Yumia perfectly delivered on all of those aspects. Over the past week or so, I've gotten the chance to play through Atelier Yumia, and I very nearly 100%ed it, being only a single collectible away that I have been unable to find, sadly. But regardless, I had an absolutely great time and wanted to use this video to just kind of give a preview slash review of the game based on my experience playing it and discussing all the various aspects I enjoyed about playing it. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being the best or one of the best entirely new games that I played this year. Huge thanks to Koei Tecmo for providing me with a review copy of the game. Very, very cool company for that, and I really appreciate it. In addition to this review, I will also be doing some guide content for the game, including a synthesis slash crafting guide, and of course a combat guide. So if you want to see those, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate your support. Let's get into it. So if you are new to Atelier, yes, I know it's pronounced Atelier, not Atelier, but I'm going to keep saying Atelier accidentally because I'm dumb. Or you clicked on this video just to see what the game is like. To give you an idea, Atelier is an RPG series where you typically take control of an alchemist, and much of the game will likely be focused on her journey and growth as an alchemist. These games have a much bigger focus on the crafting or synthesis aspect compared to other RPG series, since as I said, you are controlling an alchemist. Pretty much all of your strongest equipment and options are going to be made with synthesis, and if you understand how these features work, you can be extremely strong, trivializing even the highest difficulties. A lot of quests will have you make stuff with synthesis for delivery, and typically this is a fundamental aspect of the game. Now, like I said, I love optimizing and customization features like this, so this is right up my alley. That said, even if you think that sounds a little daunting, Yumia is actually significantly friendlier than the other Atelier games that I have played with this aspect. The combat itself has a lot of features that allow you to simply outskill enemies if you're good enough, and a lot of the game won't even require as much crafting as the previous games that I have played. Yumia, in comparison, has a much bigger focus on exploration, as this is one of the strongest aspects of this game. There is stuff to do basically everywhere on the map, and it's all denoted by little question marks on the map too. Obviously, there's materials to gather everywhere which can be used in synthesis, and you'll likely be doing this basically the entire game, but there's also treasure chests everywhere, shrines you can find with puzzles that level up your skills, ruins you can explore, a lot of unique enemies to fight, and plenty of landmarks to discover. I also do really appreciate that everything unique is noted on the map, so you know where to go to explore after unlocking the landmark for that area, and that it reveals everything. This makes it so you're never really wasting time in this game. This is one of the aspects of the game that impressed me the most, as it reminded me a lot of my favorite aspects of games like Breath of the Wild, and ironically, Xenoblade X, where there's always stuff that is really cool to do around the map and new stuff to find. The best part is that you are rewarded for basically everything that you do in this game. Not only will you find treasure chests, but by completing shrine puzzles or opening chests, you'll get skill points, which can of course be used to level up skills on your skill tree. In fact, you get skill points for basically everything you do in this game, which makes engaging with the game and its systems extra rewarding. Craft something, you get skill points. Open a chest, skill points for that. Solve a puzzle, yep, skill points. Do a side quest, of course you're going to get skill points for that. This game rewards you for anything you choose to do, which is immensely satisfying, and if you are diligent in exploration and doing everything, you get a lot of benefit out of that. Not to mention, you'll also find extra materials everywhere along the way, which can be used to craft even more powerful gear and items. It's a fun and addicting gameplay loop that very easily had me hooked when I was playing through it. I'd also like to say that the movement options in this game are a lot of fun as well. The bike is really fun to use once you unlock it, just to go really fast and just kind of explore the world at a much quicker pace, which can save you a lot of time if you know how to use it well. And the triple jump is really, really awesome once you fully unlock it and you're just able to use it everywhere. A lot of places you may not have been able to reach before become accessible, and it's just a lot of fun to just kind of use and just kind of go around using. There is an energy feature in this game, but it's really not that relevant. There was never really any time I was really, really desperately low on energy, and it's really easy to get energy back anyway, so it's not a huge and major concern. And I haven't even really gotten into combat itself yet. The combat is a lot of fun with a lot of great features as well. After initiating combat, you can move in a circular area around the enemy and attack with your skills. The basic idea here is that you have 3 or 4 skills assigned to your buttons, and using them is how you deal damage to the enemy. You can also press up and down on the D-pad to enter the inner and outer range, which gives you new skills with different effects and allows you to dodge certain area of effect attacks. Now, the cool thing about this game is that there are so many different ways that you can play. At first glance, it's simple enough, and you could probably even spam cooldowns as they are available, but using certain skills in the right order will give you a lot of benefit. and considering you can kind of queue the next skill, a lot of this gameplay reminds me of Xenoblade 2 art canceling and how you can kind of chain these skills into each other for maximum benefit. For example, every enemy has a stun meter next to their health bar, right? This value ticks down as you attack using skills of the right attacking type. Stunning the enemy reduces their stats and offers other benefits. The character I like using has a passive that lets her always reduce enemy stun value with everything she does, and basically the entire rest of her kit is also designed around getting benefits out of stunning the enemy. Her other passive skills will increase her attack damage upon stunning enemies, allow her to increase enemy stun duration, and of course, her other general skills that she uses in combat also have additional effects related to stun. You can start with X in combat to increase the amount of stun symbols you reduce on an enemy by the next skills, then use her A move to double that amount of stun symbols reduced for a guaranteed 4 stun reduction. Cycling these on single target enemies can be very nice to reduce stun very quickly since it always works. The B move is great for area of effect and a strong singular attack when you can fit it in, and Y is a general really quick and fast attack when you need to use it that you can just kind of spam repeatedly. Once you have stunned the enemy, you can move to your outer range and use your skills, which have additional bonuses like lowering the defense of stunned enemies, increasing stun duration, and increasing damage to enemies who are stunned. So basically, if you chain everything in the right order, you get a lot of benefit, and it is a lot of fun. Now, I have crafted gear so broken that it's hard to actually stun enemies before I can kill them now, but regardless, that too is a way you can play the game. Whether you want to be less broken to enjoy longer fights where you get to use more features of the combat, or you want to break the game in half, it is up to you entirely. Furthermore, every character has a different playstyle and unique skills, so you can choose the playstyle you like best. For instance, Yumia herself has a big focus on using items, and using strong items which you can swap between with your skills to use. One character gets a lot of damage by reducing his own health, and so on and so forth. Every single character has a completely different playstyle, so you can pick your favorite based on who you like the most, or just pick whoever you like the most character-wise too, which is what I did, because I think Isla is awesome. You also have a nice dodge button in this game that is a very strong option as well, and all around it is a lot of fun to play around and to mess with. Like I said, there's so many different ways you can play and different things you can focus on, and you can also swap between any character you want in combat at any time, which is super awesome if you want to try using multiple playstyles at once, and give the game even more additional depth. As the game itself says, you can discover your own playstyle. That type of flexibility in the combat system is something that I think is awesome. It definitely satisfies that urge to press a lot of buttons too. I'll of course be doing a more thorough combat guide after the game releases, so please do look forward to that. As already mentioned, the synthesis system in this game is cracked, and there's a lot of additional features you can use to make yourself even stronger and also unlock the game even more. While it may seem daunting at first glance, it's actually a fairly simple system where having more features is better, and using your good materials will net you stronger items and gear, as you can probably guess. And of course, a bigger circle is better when you are adding materials. Experimenting with crafting and spending hours just trying to optimize and synthesize something perfect has always been another draw of this series to me, but like I said, it isn't super necessary to your enjoyment of this game either. You can very easily stay on normal mode and use just good enough items you find in the overworld, or just be fine outskilling the enemy with the dodge mechanic or something like that. But if you are willing to engage with it, it has a lot of features that can make you super strong, and once again, I will definitely be making a guide on how to do just that shortly after the game releases on Friday. So the game itself is a lot of fun, and I spent a lot of time talking about those gameplay features. So what about the story and characters? I know a lot of people enjoy RPGs because of those aspects and are probably wondering what I think of them. Now obviously I won't be saying anything that is going to be spoilers, but I do really love the cast of this game. Pretty much every character is cool and has something going for them. Now, to the absolute shock of everyone, I'm sure, my favorite is Isla. I'm sure absolutely no one could have ever foreseen this. I cannot believe the Genki girl was my favorite. I know you are just as shocked as I am. But yeah, she's awesome. I love basically all of her events and interactions, especially her relationships with Rutger and Yumia. She's a bundle of joy and a lot of fun, and she's also really cute, and man, I love cute character designs like this. You can even call her best girl if you so choose. It is interesting because a lot of times the high energy bundle of sunshine character was the alchemist herself, like Sophie, whom I also adore. But Yumi is a bit more reserved this time, around wondering if her path of alchemy is the right thing. I do like Yumia a lot also, as I think she is an effective main character and has a lot of great moments throughout the game, with a really solid character arc that I think works well for the game, to make her very likable by the end of it. I was a bit worried seeing some of the official art for her initially in the directions these games might go, but my worries were fairly unfounded and I grew to really like Yumia by the end of the game. And this is a pretty common trend. Rutger is awesome and very likable. I love the hard-ass who actually cares a lot shtick. Lenya is a pathetic stuttering mess and it's kind of awesome. And I also really like Nina and Victor too, even they aren't typically my type of character. All around a nice cast that I think everyone can find at least one character they like, and I feel like that has always been a big strength of these games since the narratives aren't super grand in scale, and Sophie 2 just has such good character writing that even the ending made me tear up in that one. Speaking of which, the narrative itself is definitely a lot more serious than the other Atelier games that I have played, which is just the mysterious games, but I think overall it's pretty decent. There isn't anything overtly special that's going to change your life, but it's good for what it is, and it works for Yumia's character in a world where alchemy is seen as taboo and looked down upon. Like I said, her character arc focuses a lot on basically her path in life and if she actually really likes alchemy and wants to continue it, and I think it works for this type of game. For what it's worth, I do think the game does a great job getting you invested in the game immediately with a really strong opening flash-forward cutscene, and even if it isn't the strongest aspect of the game, I think the characters still make the narrative a lot of fun, and I think the rest of the game is so great that it still makes it absolutely a worthwhile experience. The OST is really solid as well, as you can probably imagine. I really like all of the vocal inserts themes that I heard in the game, and I think they added to all of the emotional moments to make them hit as hard as possible. The battle themes only get grander and more epic as you go through the game, and honestly, it's an RPG, so it was probably always going to have a pretty solid OST, and this was no exception. Performance-wise, I should mention I played on PC. I ran into a few funny glitches that will probably be patched out, and my game did crash one singular time, but overall it wasn't anything unplayable, and visually the game looked nice throughout without any major concerns or issues. The game does have autosave just in case as well, which is going to be really nice as a quality of life feature. And there's also a useful guide section that helps you track useful items you may need or enemies you may find, which is very helpful in a game like this, especially when you're trying to optimize crafting as much as possible and need very specific materials or trying to find the best absolute materials you can. Unfortunately, it doesn't let you track stuff you haven't found yet, so the one item I need will still be waiting until someone online tells me where to find it. So sadly, I have to wait for that until I can get my platinum because I don't feel like searching forever to try to find it since I scoured everywhere trying to find it. That is the one aspect of the game pissing me off right now, but it's alright. All around, though, I think Yumia is a fantastic game. If I was rating on a game journalist scale, I'd probably give the game a 10, but since I'm usually a bit harsher than critics when it comes to average score overall, where 5 is like my average, for me personally, it's probably about a 9. Now, most game journalists never really give RPGs higher scores anyway, so I think maybe my tastes are just different entirely, but even still, I think it's a worthwhile and extremely fun experience I was hooked to very easily until I finished. A very, very solid game and probably my second favorite Atelier game of the ones I have played right after Sophie 2. Please give it a try. Even if you're going to be busy with Xenoblade X soon as a viewer of my channel, at least give it a try after that, or just play both at the same time if you want to. Yumia is a great first entry to a potentially new sub-series, and one I think any fan of RPGs would very much enjoy, especially if you love open world exploration and fun combat, and since you guys are Xenoblade fans if you're on my channel most likely, you probably like open world exploration and fun combat, so you'll probably really like this game if you actually get the chance to play it. And cute girls too, of course, don't forget that. I love cute girls, I think everyone loves cute girls, right? This game has plenty of those. Thank you guys so much for watching, and once again, a huge thank to Koei Tecmo America for being a very cool company and giving me this review code. I look forward to also making guide content on this game, so if you'd like to see that, as well as my upcoming Xenoblade X coverage, which I'll also be doing a lot of, please once again do subscribe to the channel, as all support would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching, have a wonderful rest of your day, and hopefully I'll see you soon.